All right. Good morning. It must be Tuesday. We're all here together again. One big happy family. Isn't that nice?
Good
Very nice.
morning.
All
Morning.
right.
Morning.
For those of you who are very observant, you might notice that we have an extra person here today. We have Jen is back. Actually, we didn't do a thing last week, so they wouldn't have seen that you were not back, but you are officially back now. Is that correct?
You're calling me extra. I don't know whether to be thrilled or excited or insulted.
Well, not extra like an extra
Extra.
organ, like a vestigial
Extra, extra.
organ.
Read all
No,
about
you're
Yeah.
not an appendix. Jen, how you feeling?
I'm back.
You're back to 100%?
No,
Okay.
I'm physically back here.
You
Hello,
had what kind of surgery exactly? So everyone knows and they're not too frightened.
bunion removed. No, I'm kidding.
So I had, just to clear it up, I had 2 non-malignant tumors.
Okay. But
Yeah.
they were still there. They were taking up space. They were annoying to you, somewhat painful.
They
So
were.
you decided to get it cut out.
I did. I'm not a fan of like cut, burn, poison medicine. However, there's a point where you have to use Western medicine for what it's meant to be used for. So I held my nose and jumped in the pool.
Got it. Okay. I mean, during the surgery, though, they did knock you out.
I was very out.
You were out. Okay. I thought you were going to tough it out. I thought you weren't going to take anything at all.
I fought for a local and a nerve block at my ankle, and they weren't having it.
Yeah.
So out.
Well, okay. It's for the best.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get into things today. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Those of you who are joining us, we are glad to have you. We're going to talk about some really super important stuff that's going on. My staff doesn't know why, because every time they ask me, I just say, okay, it's none of your business. Just answer the questions when I pose them to you. Those are the rules, okay? But first, let's start out. Do we have a couple of great testimonials today? My understanding is we do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think Jen has one and Thea has one. So, Jen, why don't you go first? Floor is yours.
Thank you. So this is from Tammy, and I love that she kind of hit like a lot of really good points about our program. So, without further ado, FinTech Nutrimost has helped me succeed when no other plan had. The data-driven approach, the natural supplements, the coaching support from Jen, and the eating plan really helped me. I enjoy the clean eating approach, and I realize that processed foods and other additives are a detriment to healthy body and mind. Thank you to the entire staff at FinTech for your support in enabling my success.
Wow, very nice.
Clear, concise,
Covered a lot of ground, though.
covered a lot of ground with few words. Love it.
That's terrific. What did you like about that one, Jen?
I liked that she hit the data-driven approach, the natural supplements, and the coaching support, because really that's like the core and essence of the program. But I also like that she had a big realization that processed foods and additives really take away from not just healthy body, but healthy mind. She
Right.
I could have written this myself. Thanks, Tammy.
But you didn't, did you?
I did not.
All right, good to know. Okay, good. So we're going to move on. This is our inspiration portion. After this, Jackie is going to be going over a recipe, hopefully one that she hasn't gone over before. And then we are going to get into our content today, which nobody wants to miss. I recommend that everyone actually share this with people you know, because we're going to be talking about some very important things, including the slap heard around the world. But first, go ahead, Thea.
Okay, this is from Mary. The FinTech program was a great experience. I've learned a lot about myself, including my limits. FinTech helped me to see instant results in the beginning and still at present day. I lost 15 pounds since joining the program. My clothes fit better and I feel motivated to move into a smaller size. Furthermore, I feel like I have more energy, but at times I do feel tired and hungry. The calorie cutback made me tired, but on the other hand, the sacrifice had a positive outcome. I am happy to have joined, and I want to continue until I reach my goal weight.
You know, thank you for that, Thea. We're very proud of Mary. So Mary is challenged in a way that some people aren't challenged. She's on certain medications that actually makes it much harder to lose weight. Before us, she could not lose weight at all.
Right.
And it can cause things like hunger, and it can cause things like tiredness. And in spite of that, she managed to push through, and she did really, really well. So much so that she's going to be doing another round, right?
She also, yeah, she came in with a very low energy herself, and now her energy is much higher. Like
Right.
she's been more vibrant and more alert. You know, a little bit more present. She's just, her whole being changed to me.
Yeah,
And
it did.
Yeah.
Jen,
I was going to say, so not to contradict what Mary said, because her testimonial is amazing. Also, she is a very senior, if it's who I'm thinking of, very senior person, correct?
No.
different Mary.
Okay. never
We
mind.
have a lot of Marys.
A lot of Marys.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of Marys. Okay. Can you just address I'm not in this headspace to do it, but address how the calorie cutback might have not made her tired? Like,
Yeah, well, on the program, so this is kind of a technical thing. On the program, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get people into a narrow zone where their body is burning fat and also detoxing. There's a very big word, it's called autophagy. Auto meaning self, phage from the word to eat. So the cells are actually eating the bad parts of the cells. And it's a heightened state, and most people know that what you get when you're on the program and when you're in this state is greater mental clarity, greater energy, greater stamina. Obviously, breathing is better. And so these are some of the benefits that people see beyond just weight loss. Weight loss is a lovely side effect. That's what we're trying to do.
right. And the calorie deficit itself shouldn't make you tired because your body uses the stored fat cells as like a battery backup.
That was the actual important part that I missed.
Yes. So I'm going to get in the headspace right now.
Okay.
So I always use the example that, where you think of a dual fuel car, it has the gas that you put into it, which is the fuel, but it doesn't shut down when it runs out of gasoline. It goes to its battery backup. So the stored fat is like battery backup. So two things: people should never be hungry and they should not be tired. They should actually get more energetic on the program, because even though we're putting people into a calorie deficit, it's done intentionally to force the body to eat its own cells and clean out the toxins.
And use the fat as fuel. And you gave a metaphor that Elon Musk would love. So somebody please contact Elon Musk.
And Maria.
Hashtag. Jackie.
All right. So those are great testimonials, and I know that we have a great recipe also. Jackie, have you created a great recipe within the last 5 minutes?
I did make it yesterday, so I'm just going to use that because I don't know if I didn't give it out. Feel free to message us, DM us, leave a comment up below. I thought I gave you guys a creamy cucumber salad recipe last week because I know we were talking about dill. So if I didn't, and I think I did, please tell me so I could share it because I was excited to give it today, and I think I did. But otherwise, I attempted air fried asparagus yesterday. But I marinated it with coconut aminos, black pepper, and garlic. It came out so effing good. We can say that, right? And then
Jack, how good can it be? It was asparagus.
no, it was really free. I ate a whole bunch. One entire. I mean, that's probably 10 ounces there. I didn't even measure it, so. But
10 ounces of asparagus, and you loved it.
I did. It was really good.
All right. What's the recipe?
Easiest recipe. I literally just cut off the bottoms, clean them, dry them up, because you don't want any moisture in it. It'll just hold the moisture. And then I sprinkled it with garlic, with black pepper, and it actually gave it a really good kick. And the coconut aminos, and I just kind of rolled it around, so it wasn't drowning in it, but it was just enough to coat it. Put it in the bath in the air fryer. I did it on 350 for 12 minutes. Honestly, I could have done it a little bit longer. It didn't make it crispy in the middle, but it was perfect. It was really good. If you don't have an air fryer, put it on parchment paper for 375 for about 20 minutes.
Okay, that sounds easy to make.
It's actually really, really good. It was supposed to be from my side. I ended up just eating it, so it was good.
Right.
And if I didn't share that creamy cucumber salad, let me know because I want to share that. That was really good.
Okay, awesome. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I want to move on. I've been anxious to move on today because we have to, we can't just do fluff all the time. We have to get into some really serious stuff. Right, Corinne?
Of course.
We have to talk about things that people can use. There's something going on in the world. It's extremely important.
No.
Many of you have witnessed it.
Oh no.
And the other night
Keep
during
drawing
the
attention
Oscars,
to it.
I'm taking my bite. I'm ready.
Keep drawing
Will
attention to it.
Smith, what?
I said you keep drawing attention to it. That's what they want.
Thank
Will Smith smacked Chris
Thank-
Rock in the face and then proceeded to curse him out
Mhm.
on live television. This was shocking to all of us. Now, obviously, some people think it was fake. We're going to get to
Thank you.
you. But first, here's what I'd like. Let's go around and let's do some general thoughts. And then we're going to link this to how does this relate to life in general and weight loss more specifically. So, Corinne, what are your general thoughts on the smack? First of all, is it a slap or a smack? And what's
Well,
the
my
difference?
general thoughts are that you took two individuals and it was completely inappropriate. This was a time this was something very special being done where the first time, they were saying this was an all black cast and all black everything. This was supposed to be special and memorable. And the only thing that's now being remembered is the slap around the world, as opposed to a wonderful thing that was being done. And
So you're upset about what happened. Are you more upset with Chris Rock or are you more upset with Will Smith?
Will Smith, it was inappropriate.
Will
you
Smith
can be
was
angry, you
inappropriate.
can be
Good.
you can be angry, you could be whatever. You hold your emotions until the end.
It's true. It's true. I get angry with you guys sometimes, and yet it never gets physical. All right. Next, we have Trish.
Yeah.
We don't like the kind of students that sit in the front row and start waving their arms because they
I
think
tell
they
him
have
to
the right
swear I'm up to
answer.
no good, Jen.
Nobody
Really?
likes that.
Speak,
I'm gonna-
please,
Okay.
let me speak.
All right, I'll let you go next. But
Hey,
first,
closer to the computer screen.
hold on.
I'm jumping
Favorite child has to go first. Trish, go ahead.
So one, I think it's comedy. So they poke fun at everybody in the audience. It's not
Right.
like any, and nobody really knew she had alopecia. I mean, it really wasn't known unless you follow her, specifically.
Right.
But, I thought it was, just a joke at first. And then when he kind of got up towards him, I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting him to smack him. But then when he kind of slowed it down, Chris Rock was kind of laughing. But was he laughing because he was nervous? Like, I don't know. But then when he was cursing from the audience, it was definitely
So
inappropriate.
you think it was inappropriate. You are also upset with Will Smith.
Yeah, Chris
Okay.
Rock is funny. I don't know. Everybody was, even Will Smith was laughing in the audience
Thank
at
you.
first. But then when his wife shot him a look, I was like, oh, this is going to get
That's when it
hairy.
was. That's when it was on, right? We have some comments here that we're going to have to get to in a moment. But first,
We have to go to
Oh.
Jackie next.
I want to call
Thea.
Thea next. Unfortunately, her mic is not working. So let's move on.
No, my mic is working.
Okay, fine.
I
Thea.
wanna
All
talk.
right. What is your opinion that you're so proud of that you want to declare to the world? Go ahead.
So it's all bull crap. That's what it is.
Whoa.
It's all.
The whole
first
book
of
is
all-
coming out now.
First of all, they're actors. That's what they
Mm.
do. They act. They're in
Right.
movies. They're actors. Well, everybody's like, "Oh, Will Smith was so pissed off." He's a freaking actor. That's one. Two, it's a distraction. Something else is going on.
Jen,
in
don't
the
hurt your
world.
neck or your hands, and you don't be a seal. Nobody likes a seal. Go
What?
ahead. Go,
Something-
wait,
I
the floor is Thea's.
What?
Go ahead, Thea.
I'm encouraging Thea.
So it's all in a distraction.
Correct.
There's other stuff that's going on to cause this distraction. Also, Pfizer just came out with an alopecia treatment. So cha-ching for Pfizer.
Yes.
That
Got it.
is what's
Yes, ma'am.
happening. So don't fall into the trap. We were never educated, only indoctrinated, and they lie to us. That's all it is lies. Sorry.
Got it. So it's a total manipulation and lie with finance as the goal.
With
With
what?
making money as the goal.
Gotta follow that money trail.
Making money for Pfizer, and it's a distraction for other stuff that's going on behind the scenes that I'm not getting into. But
Got it. Let me ask you this, Thea. So you
Oh,
Thea's
she's frozen. Oh.
Okay, now she's back. Thea, you grew up in the tough streets of Hoboken. Is it a slap or a smack? And what's the difference?
Is it? What did you say?
Was it a slap or a smack? And what is the difference between a slap and a smack?
I don't really think there's maybe a smack is a little lighter than a slap. I don't really know. I mean,
You don't know. Okay, I
No.
thought if anyone
it's
would
only
know,
a
it was
punch with my family.
you. Okay,
He needs a fresh one.
A fresh
good to know. I will remember that the next time you invite me for Christmas. Jennifer. Okay, so clearly you agree with Thea. What are your thoughts?
A little bit. So I just echo what Thea said for me. And I would say we should be discussing Ricky Gervais's monologue at the 2020 Golden Globes rather than Will Smith.
That was fabulous.
There was more truth in that than in this faux slap.
Yeah, well, nevertheless, we have to color between the lines, Jen. And so this is specifically
no.
a segment on
No.
Will Smith and Chris Rock.
I think we're giving it too much attention. I
Okay.
think whenever the media wants us to look this way, we should be looking the opposite way.
Got it. So a distraction and a manipulation.
And I think Thea hit the nail on the head with the Pfizer alopecia drug.
Okay, got it. Hey, now Jackie, what is your opinion on this? Because we're 2-2 right now.
All right, because I'm angry. So I'm gonna give both sides. Okay, one, I 1,000% agree with Jen and Thea. 1,010%. There's always something going on the hindsight. They only put out their social media, Hollywood in general, and this is to every platform. They put out there what you want. They want you to see. What
Okay.
they want you to believe. That's an absolute. But on the flip side, I had tremendous issues with what went down in general, whether it be fake, whether it be not, whether it be a distraction. One, everybody's talking about now, if that was a makeup artist who did it, if that was a stylist who did it, they'd be escorted out immediately. They'd be probably arrested, most likely, right?
Right.
And big uproar. Number one, the way he handled himself, whether that was true or not, was completely out of line. It's not how you start, it's how you finish it. So for me, whether he was laughing out of embarrassment, laughing because it was staged, the entire thing was so inappropriate on so many levels. And same thing, like Corinne said, this should have been a night where it was like, first time in 2 years, we have 3 hosts. The truth is, roasting is part of this. This is also part of the scene. And if there are boundaries that should not be crossed, that should be anything. But it was okay 20 minutes prior when they were getting fake pat downs because
but-
there were single men on the stage.
What I don't understand though, Jackie, right now is, are you saying that it was real? Are you saying it wasn't real? Or are you saying you don't know and it doesn't matter because it was inappropriate either way?
Do I think it's real? I do think it's real, but I absolutely do think that there's something in the pipeline. I don't think it was.
Okay.
It
So
was.
you think it was real? Will Smith got emotional. He was upset for his wife, and he really slapped or smacked Chris Rock.
Yeah, I do.
And are you
I
more
don't think
upset
he
with?
got upset for his wife.
I'm sorry.
I don't think he got that upset for his wife because he laughed first until
He
she.
was laughing.
Okay. Yeah, but then she looked upset. So are you more upset with Will Smith, or are you more upset with Chris Rock?
With Will Smith, absolutely.
With Will Smith. So he behaved inappropriately.
Absolutely.
Violence is never acceptable.
He
Let
did
me
not
read some
before,
of these
apparently.
comments here.
And I have to be honest, before just to end on that, I don't like what I'm seeing out there when everyone's like, oh, we need more men to stand up for women like that. No, we need more people to stand up for themselves in general. That's not how you react. That's not the answer.
Got it.
So it gets me so
The
mad.
truth is, right? Like the truth is that Hollywood, you're a public figure. Kids look up to you, for example.
It's also
And now you taught children that if you're angry, it's okay to smack somebody in the face. And what was said by his actions were not okay.
But do you see that? Just think of it as a movie.
Thank you.
Jen,
Movie or not,
wait,
movie or not, these children are idolizing these
Absolutely.
individuals, and it should not be.
as much as I agree with you, Jen, and I agree with you, Thea, the truth is at 8:30, my kid was still up. And the honestly, Isabella has no concept of Pfizer. She has no idea about alopecia. There's no backstory. So that leads to something else. So the fact is what they see, which is what Hollywood wants you to see and believe, is out there. So then it leaves us to filter.
So the truth is, nobody
So,
knows
like-
the truth. And the truth is
Right.
that since we know that Hollywood is all based on fakeness, it becomes a different argument and it becomes moot whether Will Smith slapped him or didn't slap him. whether it's fake or not fake. If it's fake, it's a whole different discussion. The manipulation is disgusting. And if it is real, then we have two different conversations going on.
Either way, nothing good comes from it.
Nothing
I'd like to
good-
read
no.
off some of our comments here.
I mean, wait, but here's a prime example.
What do you mean, wait? There are
Because
comments.
I have one more thing to say. Here's a prime example. My
Okay.
12-year-old now has to write an essay
Oh no.
on this entire topic.
Oh,
No
my
way.
For
You
English.
see how they're
Ridiculous.
they're making
That's
the
not
focus,
okay.
they're making the focus on this. That
Correct.
it's a distraction. So everything is on this. They won. They did what they
They on the teacher though. This has nothing to do with what they should be learning in school.
Right.
Do you
Correct.
want to hear some comments?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Does anyone want to hear comments? Okay, other people are joining the discussion. This is good. So, first, Maria, well, she was talking about the program, and she said, I agree, lost lots of inches this round, even though not as many pounds. I'm okay with that. Inches are better than pounds, right? We've talked about this before. Pounds reflects gravity, right? But inches reflects burning fat, and that's what we want. Now, regarding what we're talking about with the slap heard around the world, by the way, I'm assuming somebody else has said that, but if they haven't, then I own it. And I'm copyrighting it. Okay. Carla says, you just don't make fun of a woman's hair condition, though. All right. What do we think about that? I mean, making fun of a woman's
Again,
hair
I don't know.
condition.
I don't think people really knew that.
Number
that
one,
was-
people didn't know, but the
It
truth
doesn't matter if people knew.
Now they
People
know,
make it-
and
Yeah,
now
but she's not in
Pfizer-
Hollywood. How do we
People
know
know
that
now.
she wasn't doing a G.I. Jane or something like that? Like nobody knows.
but not
We're
even
not necessarily
Now everybody
making
knows.
fun.
So now everybody's gonna go who has hair problems to Pfizer to get the new treatment.
it's
Not me.
Best publicity ever.
It is
I
it is
said-
great publicity.
Day one, I said to Dr. R when he came in, well, what do you think? I said publicity.
Day one was yesterday, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Fake.
Good.
When the
Today
movie
would be
was
day
like,
two.
no, I think it's real. I think it's
Actually, it's not exactly what I said, and I certainly didn't say it like that. But we'll
I wish
get
I
to that
had
in
a
moment.
picture, Thea.
Okay. So Maria says, so sick of hearing about it. Guess they needed their ratings boost.
you skipped one that Maria said.
Huh? No, I know I did. I know I did. Oh, no, I didn't see that. Didn't watch. Don't friggin' care. All self-absorbed a-holes. Maria, you have to stop being so diplomatic and sitting on the fence. Just express yourself, for God's sakes. Okay. And then Maria says, right on, Thea. So Maria agrees with Thea. Carla says, I agree it's a distraction. Oh, Pfizer.
Yeah.
And Carla also says she brought it up on social media. So, but Carla seems to think that, you know, what Chris Rock did was wrong. I don't know if she thinks that Will Smith's reaction was actually legitimate or not, but either way, it's being used for the purposes of making money. It's being used for commercial purposes. Jackie.
People.
In regards to it being brought up on social media, like, so I knew that in hindsight that she had an issue, but to be honest with you, I don't follow that way. So I'm not really involved in what they do. You know, if it's not something right in front of my face, I don't go seeking out what's going on in Hollywood in general. It's just not me. So yes, I did know it, and I'm like, oh yeah, she has an issue, but she's embraced it for so long, and it's been zero conversation. And the truth is, I feel like with their family life in general, everything is because they want to be present, right? So they're bringing things out there that they want people to be aware of. For her to be upset and frustrated and rolled her eyes, why is it okay that they were laughing when Amy Schumer made the reference of forgot her name, so-and-so putting on weight this year? She was making a joke because she was pregnant. She's pregnant. She just had a baby. She wasn't saying that she actually gained weight because she got fat. She's saying she was referencing her pregnancy. But they made fun of her, and they ripped her a new one pretty much for making that statement.
Well,
Why?
let me pose another question to you.
What?
I originally thought when I saw it, my first thought was, oh my God, this poor lady has cancer, because I didn't know that she had alopecia. And
I don't think that at all.
would that have changed it if he made the same joke and if Jada Pinkett was struggling with cancer? Would that have changed your opinion on it? Would you think at that point that Will Smith would have been justified, assuming
Absolutely
it was real?
not.
Jen
No,
and
because
Thea?
wrong is wrong.
So
Okay,
now,
wrong is wrong, so no.
Because
Yeah, I think-
most likely, I'm sorry, Jen.
it's okay.
Most likely, Pfizer is coming out with a chemo drug. So
So I think we're looking at this through the lens of these are normal people, and we would be insulted if it was done to us. These people have traded their right to privacy for a life in the spotlight, and people seem to forget that they get paid for every single thing they do.
They
When
get paid to be slapped.
Yes, when we see people
How much?
on
Oh,
commercials
I'll get
coming
some
out
of
and
that.
saying, I did XYZ thing, we forget this is all scripted. It's all fake. It's all screen sets. It's all green screens. Nothing about this is real. These people, and I'm saying these people, actors and actresses, are not genuine. They're not. Everything that they're doing, every commercial, people run and say, oh, so-and-so in Hollywood said so-and-so. Oh, look, Johnny Depp is blah, blah, blah. They're getting paid to play us.
Okay,
Stop.
so got it. So I'm pretty sure I know where you stand. You do not believe that it was real. You think it was a setup.
I think it was a
So I
setup.
do get that. But now
And-
let me segue. Let me segue. First of all, let me say this. I could see based on the footage how that could have been made up. I could see that. I could see how it could have been real also. I don't have a strong conviction one way or the other.
Uh-oh.
I'd probably lean a little bit more that it was a real slap and there was some real upset there. But I don't know, and that's fine. And maybe someday we'll find out. Certainly pundits are looking at the footage as if it's the Zapruder film. Now, here's how it relates to us. Let's assume that it was a real thing that occurred, right? Will Smith was upset for his wife and he decided to take action. The problem with his behavior in that case is that he was out of control. And yesterday, I was having a conversation with one of our clients. And what did she say to me? She said, Doc, I'm out of control. We spoke on our meeting yesterday, and we were talking about how important it is to be able to control our business, right? And exert some control, not the bad kind of control that everyone thinks, exert some control over our clients. Anyone who deals with any kind of a business that deals with volume and dealing with people and emotions know that it's not easy to do that. So this subject of control is super, super important. Now, if we're going to be able to help people, we have to help them regain control. That's why people are coming to us, right? So Jen, Thea, our coaches, how do you help an individual who feels that they're out of control, that they have no control with how they're eating, maybe they have no control in their lives? How do you help them regain control?
Oof.
Oof.
So
That's not the response I was looking for.
My sentiments exactly, Jen.
there's so many answers to that. First of all, a lot of it is a chemical dependence on the foods that they're eating.
Okay.
So because this program acts as a detox, like you mentioned earlier, detoxing is a pretty funny thing. So once you break that chemical dependence, you do gain greater control over your own actions. So I kind of tell people that they have to trust the process, that, when I sit down and do a consultation, which is rare because you do most of the consultations, but when I do a consultation or I sit and do a go over, I explain to people that in about 2 weeks, everything that I'm saying, they're going to come back to me and say, oh my God, I didn't believe it, but you were right. Which, it's lovely to be right, but I want them to be what's the word I'm looking for? Successful more than I want to be right.
Right.
So, I just tell them they have to trust me. They have to shelve everything that they've been told about weight loss and about eating and just go on a little bit of blind faith and just know that it's going to work if they follow this program. So, breaking the chemical dependence on food is the first step. And, it's a chemical detox. Our foods are addictive.
Got it. Okay, fair enough. Good answer. We got to start out with the physical component, but
Right.
ultimately we do have to get though to the mental emotional component,
Yeah.
right? Okay, good. Thea, how about you? How do you help a client regain control of, at the very least, their food and their eating and their weight, and hopefully that spans out and they get more control over their lives? Because again, that's what people are seeking.
So I agree with Jen, everything she said. So it's a detox. Our food that we're eating is addicting, and the processed food that we're putting in our bodies blocks the pineal gland, which doesn't allow you to think clearly. It also creates inflammation, which doesn't allow you to
Allow you to think clearly. Yep.
Yep. So thinking clearer, eliminating, detoxing, you're able to think clearer and you gain more control over your life and your, food choices.
Got it. Okay, good. Now for those of you who have children, having children and raising children is largely an exercise in control, is it not?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. What is it that
I'm out of this conversation.
If you saw me at 7:30 this morning, you would have saw me exercise control.
Yeah. In the way that Will Smith did? Understood. So what is it that has you feel most out of control? And what is your best advice to people for regaining control, whether it's of a family or of any subject?
So for me, for example,
Yeah.
I have to say to myself, like, you know what? When it comes to weight loss, for example, like you're going to stop, you're going to make yourself something healthy to eat, and you're going to do this. And the more you do it and the more you create the constant daily habit of it, the easier and easier it becomes.
So you talk to yourself.
Yeah, I have to.
And
Yeah.
in fact, it sounds like you command yourself. You're pretty harsh.
I do. I say I can and I will do this. Like I can and I will do this. Like I remind myself every day, like I believe in myself. I can and I will do this. Like I can make time for myself. I can do this. It's okay. Because so oftentimes, when you have kids, you don't make time for yourself. You're busy running here, there, and everywhere, or, working and then forgetting to eat and do it, the behaviors have to stop, and you have to step back and remind yourself that you're just as important as your children. And in order for your children to be healthy, they have to watch you eat healthy foods.
Understood. Trish, how about you?
I try to gain control. I try to listen and be present and really hear what they're saying to kind of focus in and make better choices for them too. It's not always easy because, you want to, do the right thing all the time, but I try to mostly hear what they're saying and really listen to what, is going on in their lives.
All right. What's the connection between the listening and the helping them to regain control also of themselves?
Yeah, because sometimes, they just want to be heard. They want to, they really want to be heard. And it's hard when you're the adult and you're trying to control what you think is the right thing for them to do. But sometimes they really just want to be heard and understood, So I really try to be listening and paying attention to what's going on in their lives to kind of mold them the way they should be, and do the right thing and, be a good person and just listen, because sometimes, as an adult, we kind of just think that we know exactly what's going on all the time. But, sometimes, it's not always the right answer. So I try to be listening and present and, and help guide them that way.
Got it. Okay. And by the way, let me just say here that for those people who think that control is a bad thing, because it's always used in that way, or it's often used in that way, right?
Right.
We're being controlled, and it has some kind of almost a dictatorial kind of understanding sometimes.
Yeah.
But think about it: if you're in your car and you're careening down the street with no control, that's a very bad thing. Exerting control is necessary in life. Over
Absolutely.
yourself, over the people you care about, over material things like cars, etc. So Jack, let me pose that question to you. How do you assist your children? Because you can control them very harshly if you chose to. Right? You could theoretically beat them into submission. I know that's not your style.
Not my style.
You want them to grow up
Yes.
having self-control and be able to control their environment. How do you help them with that?
It's very much what Trish said, but more so communication. I mean, in our house, we talk a lot. I mean, we obviously know I could talk a lot, but everything is a conversation. Everything's an explanation.
agree.
I don't just give them because I said so. This is why, with no reason behind it. And the truth is,
I couldn't agree more.
even even if I'm angry, if it has something to do with health or weight, me just saying just because, they're still left with questions. And
Mhm.
all I'm doing is shutting them down to not talk to me. And the
Right.
truth is, if I'm trying to bridge that gap always, even right now they are younger. As they get older, it's very easy for them to be naturally influenced by their environment, right? Their friends, families, school, activities, other things they're doing. But they need to know that at home, there's no holds bar. I mean, there is no filter here. There's no lying. There's nothing you
Well,
cannot.
wait. Doesn't there need to be a line?
No.
No, at home, absolutely not.
We
No,
were just talking about someone who may have crossed the line.
there's
There's
no. There is in our house, and I make this clear even now at their age, at 6 and 9, that there's nothing they cannot tell me,
Right. That
Daddy.
kind of-
And it's not
There's
just
no line when it comes to communication.
right.
Yeah,
can
like
say
I say to
whatever
my
you
kids,
need.
I may not like what you have to say,
absolutely.
but I will always listen to you and
Me
always
too.
hear you and offer
Always.
support and
Yeah, that's
guidance.
going to change.
Oh,
as they
absolutely.
become
Well,
teenagers.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like right now,
It'll
I'm
change a little bit.
discussing from a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old's perspective, but I do have a little bit of a mature 9-year-old too. That she does have a lot of questions that some people are not there yet. She has some friends that are 9 years old that don't ask certain questions. So even when it comes to something as simple as food, she tells her, "Mom, I want the chicken nuggets at school." I'm like, I'm like, Isabella, you know what, Mom? That's not that's me. That's not real food. How about Mommy gives you my version of chicken, but my friends eat it and they're fine. One day we're sitting outside and she was talking to one of her friends, like, "Oh, what'd you pack for lunch?" And they're having this conversation, and she's like, "Oh, my mom made me her chicken nugget, her version of chicken nuggets." And he was like, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, what do you have?" "Oh, I'm having school lunch." She's like, "You're so lucky." And he goes, "I'd rather have home lunch. My parents don't have time to make my lunch."
Mm.
And when Isabella came home from school, she brought it up again. I didn't say anything. I let them have they were having two conversations. It was not for an adult to listening to. And I heard it. And I actually did come in. I was like, "John," I was like, "I felt so bad." I'm like, and he didn't say
You
anything
said
about
it to me too. I felt
yeah, and I was
so
I felt terrible. And his parents are wonderful. Family is wonderful. And, they just, those are things that you just kind of like overlook, right?
Right.
And she said, "Mom, I had all my lunch today. It actually was really good." And I was like, "Oh, good." I'm glad. And she's like, "Do you think that we can make so-and-so chicken tomorrow?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll ask him."
See, this is the difference, though, between you and a more forceful type of mother, and I think you're all like that. Is that in the old days, the understanding of control was force, and they would say, "Well, you're going to eat it and you're going to like it,"
Yeah.
and they might even go so far as to grab their hair and open their mouths and shove it in.
Yeah.
I mean, these things that were known to happen, right, back in the day. So I'm glad that you don't do that. Please
Okay.
don't. Podiatrist will get a call if any of these people
We'll be
behave
calling
that
for
way.
us.
You don't you remember when we were kids in our house? You grew up. You're to be seen but not heard.
Oh, my mom
Sure.
said that all the time.
Children,
My mom said not for me, because my mom actually
Yeah, but when we were at a family event,
my mom said that when she was younger, it was often kids were not addressed in that
Jen,
way.
what do you think about that? About that whole understanding that children are to be seen and not heard? That can't sit well with you.
Me?
does it? Look at her face.
Are you
Yeah.
are you talking to me?
Yeah, no, I'm talking to the other Jen.
The other Jen? Yeah, the other Jen still working her way back. I didn't have that as an upbringing. So, it's funny because I was raised differently than a lot of my cousins. So they were in that, they're younger than me. Definitely different generation. They're probably closer to like everyone else's age here, except for me and Thea. Sorry. And you. So there was a children's table and there was an adult table. And we didn't, like in my house, we didn't grow up like that. We were included in the conversation. The fun conversation was at the adult table because that's when everybody talked about like politics and religion and happenstance and like real issues rather than playing with dolls and whatever. And I was grateful to my aunts and uncles who, even though they had a children's table, never put me at the children's table. So, that whole children should be seen and not heard. It doesn't sit well, but I think that there's also a line of what's appropriate for children's conversation, what's not appropriate. As far as the sorry, as far as the parent, I just got a text from my close friend who called me drunky because I can't hold a coherent thought these days. You know, I think as a parent, I was looking back when you guys were talking at what it was like when my kids were 6 and 9 and 10 and 12. And there is a whole different world between 6 and 9 and 10 and 12 and 17. And then I look at the older ones who are in a different place at 27 and 25, and that world comes back again. So there's a little bit of a, you know what's happening today. You don't necessarily know what's happening tomorrow. Unfortunately, there are influences out there on children that should not be out there. But you have to kind of have a lot of belief in your own in the foundation you're laying for the kids, and understand that whatever they're going through in the meantime, whether it's food choices or friend choices or anything, that they do kind of come back full circle. And there is a more realistic and more truthful conversation once they mature a little bit. So
Got it.
Absolutely.
guys, sit
Well-
still for the in-between years. Hold tight.
Pardon me.
I
So
think-
Jen, you brought up a topic I want to segue into, but as a lead in for next week.
Which
All right, because you brought up the the factor of time. You mentioned the future. And if we're going to control things, the most confounding factor seems to be time. Those people who are addicted to only handling things for today end up constantly running into dangerous situations,
Yeah.
right? They're not prepared. On the other hand, those people who are totally focused on tomorrow and on the potential dangers of tomorrow are neurotic and crazy
Mhm.
and can't function in the moment.
Right.
So that's a really, really important topic, I think. Jackie, what you were going to say, is it so important that it can't wait till next week, or no?
No, all I was going to say was that it's just what Jen said, just touching on the fact that you're hoping that everything that you're doing on a regular basis stays with them.
Right.
You know, it's not going to be perfect all the time.
That's for
Right.
sure. So,
And that's
so
the same
let's
for health.
That's
right. So
It's
let's get into that next week. Children do need boundaries, says Maria. And we will talk about those boundaries. We'll talk about if force, which is what Will Smith may have used or may not. We'll talk about if force is ever necessary when it comes to be able to controlling others. We'll talk more about self-control, more about that confounding factor of time, and
yeah.
we'll get into it all next week. All
And-
righty?
And bring into next week's conversation what Trisha said about being present in the moment.
Yep.
Okay.
Always.
If that's,
So
if that's
important
what
to
you
be
want,
present.
your wish is my command.
Controlling.
I'll say this to all of my staff, as you wish. And,
and
and
thank
some of
you.
you know what that means. Okay.
Oh.
All right, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
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 Bye.